That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves on the cusp of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, even courting a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus. And tonight, oh my God, what glorious purpose! We're talking Loki. Ding. All right, how you doing, Dragon?
Feeling mischievous.
First of all, let me actually plug in my good microphone here, people. Sorry for not doing that before we went live. I totally didn't realize it was unplugged, and better audio quality coming in 3, 2, 1. It's already there. Look at that. That's the magic of technology, anyways. All right, so that's right. We are. It's Loki, folks. It's the third Marvel Disney Plus series this year. Can you believe it, Dragon? We're already on the third one of these.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we got Donovan Martin in the comments here. He's been on a roll. He says this episode was a roller coaster of emotions, among other things. A lot of heavy themes he's talking about, and of course, a multiverse war. What? All right. So, Dragon, what are your thoughts on Loki? I mean, are you, I literally haven't seen any person who's like, yeah, Loki was just mad.
Yeah, episode 1 I thought was a great and necessary character piece. I think it sets the tone and kind of the scope of the TVA from Loki's perspective real well. And again, I think this episode it gives you a real arc and a real kind of solid introduction to the premise overall. I'm really feeling Loki. I think I got a good feeling about Loki. I think in terms of kind of the audience, the audience reception this time around. I think we're in good shape. I don't know. I got a good feeling about it. I had a great time with the first episode. I'm definitely on the hook for more.
Of course, Dragon. If that stained glass painting doesn't turn out to be Morpheus, then I'm just
Morpheus.
What?
You said Morpheus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mephisto.
Get your own dumb running gag right, would you?
I think I mixed up Mephisto and Morbius and kind of like made a new name. Anyways, sorry about that. But okay, so Beowulf says first time catching the chat. To those that don't know me, prepare for the chat to descend into chaos. Looking forward to it, Beowulf. Yeah, Dragon. I think this was like. I really like WandaVision's opening 2 episodes that we got, but I think this is by far the best opening episode of the 3. I think I think the other 2 basically just felt like, all right, this is like, we're kind of dipping our toe into like, with WandaVision, we knew that it was going to be sitcom and we got sitcom. We were kind of episodes 1 and 2, we were just sort of dipping our toe into the mystery at that point. Falcon Winter Soldier, well, you guys kind of know about how I feel about the opening of Falcon Winter Soldier. The opening action set piece is great, but I think there's a lot of weird pacing problems with that show, just kind of in general. I don't know. I don't want to go back into a Falcon and Winter Soldier argument. I think overall the show definitely landed strong, but it took a while to get interesting. Anyways, they are already confirmed Mephisto isn't in it. Beowulf Mephisto is in everything. All right, Mephisto is every character.
See, here's what I love about this episode, just kind of where we're at now with Disney Plus shows. Okay, here's the thing. Even without them confirming it, we literally the whole first episode it confirms at the end of it. Okay, well, here's who our bad guy is. Like it's no mystery, it's no guessing game. Here's who it is.
Yeah,
the question is what version of it's going to be, but it's like we know who the bad guy is. And secondly, I love that with just in case it was lost on anyone, we have like the interviews and everything. So guys, just to confirm, no Mephisto yet. I know Mephisto's been this growing thing. Everyone's waiting for Mephisto now.
I mean, you know what? When they set up a stained glass painting of a devil, it's like they're kind of asking for it.
It was I'm with you, but it was a clever. I was thinking, if they're gonna do it, I mean, of all the setups. But then again, the horns thing is like, why didn't I think of the horns? I mean, that's also a good. That's a good misdirect, though. If you're everyone's going for Mephisto, they're not thinking of the obvious answer of like, oh wait.
Oh my God, it's Daniel Radcliffe in that weird movie Horns.
Anyway.
Sorry.
But Donovan says this is definitely going to be a character
Points to
study.
anyone who actually got that reference. So, yeah.
So Donovan
but
says,
Dragon, this whole thing feels very Terry Gilliam, feels very like early Tim Burton, kind of like it's got kind of a Beetlejuice quality to it, I think. With a whole like waiting room for people that are out of time. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm digging it, man. I really am. And there's definitely, let's just full blown spoilers right now, folks. Full spoilers, because we're just going to dive headfirst into this thing. Dragon, that drawer full of Infinity Stones. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Like,
I just love how it conveys just how next level we're going with the TVA.
We spent 3 phases building the Infinity Gauntlet. Yep. And then in one shot, they're just like, all right, like none of that shit matters.
We use them as paperweights.
I love that.
I just love how we make the universe seem so small in one very mundane moment. And again, I just love the realization on Loki with that moment of, and he's walking through like a bullpen of desk and like marveling at the wonders of like, oh my God, this is the next level power. I never would have thought it'd be so boring, but this is the next level power. Right. Like, my God, the TVA, they're the new hotness of the power of the MCU, if you will.
Right, so of course, as expected, we start things off right with Avengers Endgame with the battle for New York, and of course, I love that we get a repeat of the Hulk elevator shenanigans, just from a slightly more dramatic point of view.
Yeah, I like how we're keyed in more to Loki in those scenes.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, Iron Man looking on from a distance.
So it's not so much like, haha, Hulk's making it funny. It's like, no, like in Loki's point of view, he's just desperately looking for a distraction,
Yeah.
And so boom, right away, just I love how efficient this is, Dragon. Like, he just gets picked up by the time variant, by the TVA just right away, just like not even beating around the bush at all. It's like, no, yeah, you ain't doing this shit, Loki.
Yep. So let's talk. So I think the big draw. I mean, from the marketing and honestly seeing it full on, just kind of in display here at the top, the TVA intake kind of process. Basically, so Loki's being processed as he's been kind of arrested by our Time Variance Authority. Great intro to the TVA procedure and the system that ultimately, just guesstimating here, given kind of the trailer and like the windbreaker of it all, Loki's going to be working for the TVA. Ergo, we should see how the TVA works. As he gets kind of a flavor of what he might be doing, at least until he kind of works up some some gears start turning in the old Asgardian noodle. So we have like the paperwork gag, which is my favorite. It's like, please sign, verify this is everything you've ever said. It's like, this is absurd. Sign that too. And I love the subtle gag that even though this Loki hasn't been through Ragnarok, I love that he keeps falling. Like, I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Right.
Messing with him, he just keeps falling. Like, you don't. The idea of the TVA is there's so much going, you don't know which way is up, literally, because you keep falling through the floor during the intake process. That's really clever.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Oh, the best gag, Tiki. And now Tiki, one of our boys, essentially, was in the ticket scene. Did you recognize him?
No, I didn't.
You're gonna love this. Okay. So at the TV, folks, if you can take away any lesson from this episode or this Disney Plus series, it's when you're at the TVA, you better take a ticket, or else, because there's this other guy, and I love how we kind of made him look a little bit like Loki with the long black hair too. We basically. We just have this loud mouth like, hey, you offered me a ticket. What are you saying? I need a ticket to get through here. And they basically zap him out of existence. That man was Josh Tatum. Tiki, that was Kid Kubrick from Better Call Saul.
Oh my God. Wow. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, the film students from Better Call Saul kids. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, let's see. We have Donovan saying, I wonder if by the end of the season, Loki will be a defender of the timeline. He's always been looking for a glorious purpose. That's a good theory. That's a good theory. B-Wolf saying surprising the TVA is actually being competent given how bad at their job they are in the comics.
That's a fair point. It's bureaucracy. There's always going to be giant holes in the system, or just going to they're going to white out things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know what I love in that whole ticket gag? The one is just kind of hilarious, but just seeing Loki's instant panic. But again, Loki's going into survival mode, where he is really he could be vaporized, he could die. I mean, for keeps this time.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see. Then we get
We should talk Miss Minute, shouldn't we?
Oh my God, yes. Because what I love about that, of course, is I'm sure it's inspired by Jurassic Park.
It is.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just fantastic. I mean, I think Jurassic Park, like that, the Mr. DNA thing is one of the all-time great exposition dumps in film. And I mean, this is up there, man. It's like, this is conveying a far more complicated, idea than just like, hey, mosquito take dino DNA, mosquito get frozen in sap, and dino DNA gets preserved. Like, no, this is timeline altering shit here.
Yeah, Mr.
Literally.
DNA is basically a history of Amber. That's pretty much what it is. Kind of the most boring yet scientifically provincial thing ever.
Whereas this is it's just like, wait, what? I love how it's just conveying like probably some of like the biggest, most earth-shattering revelations in all of the MCU in essentially a Mr. DNA animation, Dragon.
Yep. Miss Minute's, by the way, voiced by the wonderful Tara Strong.
Yes, of course.
And conveyingly, all of our Doctor Strange 2 set up right up front, so people don't have to wait for it. Like, okay, folks,
this is a big time, almost kind of like a backdoor prequel to Multiverse of Madness.
Let me break down some stuff here. Okay, here's some big catches. Okay, so of course, Nexus event, that's huge. Of course, remember, Scarlet Witch is a Nexus being, is that she's the one who can kind of make these inaccuracies willy-nilly, hence the power. Like she can make she can make reality bending alterations at a whim. So just a Nexus event is when someone veers off the timeline, pretty much like Loki did, taking the Tesseract. So leads to a lot of chaos and a lot of variance of reality, as well as like the person who has left their timeline. The big point of speculation is the timekeepers. Now the timekeepers are built into the TV. Basically, have like the three lizard-looking kind of guys who basically decide what's kosher in the timeline, decide what timelines matter and all that sort of stuff. But what's interesting is the design in the cartoon of the timekeepers had blue faces.
Ooh.
Now, basically, Tiki, if you look at these guys, particularly one in particular, I think it's like the middle one, I'm not sure. The one has like kind of these freckles and kind of lips going on. That one looks very similar to Kang the Conqueror, who's going to be could be a very huge MCU character who we're going to have introduced in Ant-Man 3, played by Jonathan Majors, from Lovecraft Country.
Okay,
so,
yeah, sure.
I believe he was Delroy Lindo's son in Defy Bloods too, by the way. But anyway, so I can't confirm that is exactly Kang the Conqueror. All I know is Kang the Conqueror has run-ins all the time.
I have definitely heard that theory, and just in general, I like the fact that they could pretty much be anyone, Dragon.
Yeah, so I think smart money is Kang the Conqueror is either a timekeeper, he's related to the timekeepers somehow. I think there's smart money behind that. Now, the big thing, Donovan alluded to early, you kind of put like the what comment, the multiversal war. Okay,
that was the big thing I'm talking about in terms of like, okay, that's probably one of the biggest pieces of info we've ever gotten on the MCU.
Yeah, that's huge. that did kind of throw me for a loop. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, my dad and I literally had to do a double take. Like, oh my God.
So I think the dream for me, what I'd like this to be, and I think Donovan too, if I read that comment right, I think the dream to me would be that a multiversal war recurring would be maybe a spiced up version of Secret Wars for the MCU. Like, how the heck do you top Endgame? Well, you have an Endgame battle with characters from like different variants and versions from
that'll top Endgame. That'll do it.
And you actually set it in space like Secret Wars, like that. Maybe those elements. I don't know. I'm just saying you take something like that, like mix Secret Wars, which the Russos have said they would come back for Secret Wars. So I don't know if this would cut the mustard for them. I'm not saying it's a make or break. It'd be cool though. Just take that and then take the whole multiverse idea, and that's how you kind of make that idea sing before. It's like DC did it first, that's how you make it your own. Like, we make it Secret Wars, so something to rival the Infinity Saga, quite possibly. And then the big earth-shattering thing is the ominous mystery and the tone of the TVA established through. I assume, based on this multiversal war reveal, that one already happened, that the MCU we know, again, like let's just say in quotes, the 616 MCU, the main MCU.
Yeah.
that's the one that won the war. My question is, what happened to the rest? I think that's the mystery we're kind of having in the background for the season. We know we're getting a second season of this.
And it also kind of makes you wonder about like the Doctor Strange, like all the different timelines. This is the one timeline that matters. Kind of puts that into a different perspective.
And again, we mentioned if all these timelines go out of whack, it could become madness. So I think we're setting a lot of seeds for Loki, between Loki and the Scarlet Witch for Doctor Strange too. I don't know.
No doubt. Yeah.
Nexus being guy
arguably even Spider-Man 3, but Greg, I don't know. I'm getting.
I don't believe anything until I see it with Spider-Man. I'm hearing fantastic things. I'm hearing not so fantastic things. I don't believe anything.
I'm with you.
Until I see a trailer or the finished movie, I don't believe anything.
All right. Anyways.
All right, let's see. Perhaps. Oh yeah, there's something there. Donovan's pointing this out. Did you see the pic going around that the TVA might have arrested Peggy Carter?
Ooh.
I've seen that. I don't buy it.
Okay, I do have a fun little. I have a couple fun Avengers Campus Easter eggs that I found out about, though, Dragon.
Oh, okay.
One of them is that Peggy Carter has a parking spot in Avengers Campus.
That is really nice.
And then you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this, Dragon. So does Coulson, and Lola is parked in the parking spot.
Get it? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Lola is parked in.
Lola is in the parking spot. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, okay.
Overall, I think Avengers Campus is kind of a turd, if I'm being honest.
Well, why do you really? After all that, we're talking about the parking spot. You gotta.
I love the Easter eggs, Dragon. I love the Easter eggs from a theme park.
You got the lime soda. Come on.
But that's the thing, is that literally the most exciting attraction in that whole land is a fucking restaurant. So it's whatever.
Anyway,
Dragon, explain who Lola is really quick.
Yeah, Beowulf95. So Lola is Coulson's car that essentially it's a flying car. It's kind of a covert flying spy car that was based on the Howard Stark flying car from the 1940s in Captain America: The First Avenger. So that's what that is. All right.
Okie dokie. Where were we? Sorry.
Okay, let's see. So we covered Miss Minutes and how awesome that was. Kind of like the 50s, kind of like info, kind of info exposition dump via the Mr. DNA kind of structure. So perhaps so let's talk about Loki's trial, because as brief as it is, let's talk about here's what I love about Loki's trial. So by the way, the judge
had a very this is like the most Terry Gilliam feeling scene in the whole episode for me.
See, I got a movie comparison I feel is very apt, but we'll get to that once we talk Mobius. But before we get there, the trial itself, we have a character who's probably going to come back, Ravonna Renslayer as the judge. So the idea, she, I believe, was like a TVA agent who got a promotion to judge, hence the whole back and forth with Mobius and Mobius. So she take note of her. I think she's got an interesting story that's going to come back. Like she kind of she might have had some run-ins with Kang the Conqueror. Don't quote me on that, because the old timey kind of limey TVA Kang the Conqueror stuff is lost on me in the comics because it's a little vast. So, but the trial itself, I love Loki acting as his own silver-tongued, cocky lawyer in this situation, and I love him just trying to blame the Avengers. And I love that he kind of has a point before we shut that down. With he has a point. They were also messing with time, but, and I love the logic, 1 in 14 million realities. Mm-hmm. I mean that Sorcerer Supreme confirmed. I mean, you can't really beat that. So the Avengers, on all their time shenanigans, got the TVAs okay. So that was a lot of fun. I like that.
Okay, so let's enter Mobius.
Oh
my God, I'm so
not
sorry.
A vampire.
I'm terrible, Dragon. Jesus.
Okay, so the easy way to remember, remember it's Mobius M. Mobius. He's got the literally converted name. It's awesome.
The easy way for me to remember it is it's like a Mobius loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so time. Yeah,
time. Yeah, it was just yeah.
Yeah, I need to remember that. All right. So Mobius, of course, he is Owen Wilson is definitely, for my money, as charming as Tom Hiddleston is. We've seen him before. We've seen him around the block a couple of times in the MCU. Owen Wilson is an actor where, not only have we not seen him in the MCU yet, obviously, but we haven't seen him around in a few years just in general. And I know he's been going through some stuff. I don't want to get into specifics because it'd probably just be hearsay at this point. But I'm glad to see he's back, man. He's making a comeback, and this is a fantastic kind of return to form for him. He's a little bit more calm and mature than he was back in the 2000s, but I think it fits him really well, I don't know. And of course, Dragon, I need to bring this up. I've heard a big theory that this is a theory. I don't know how I feel about it. I want to get your insight on it. Morbius is...
Do you mean Mobius?
Mobius. Sorry. Mobius Loop. He is a Loki dragon.
You're saying that he's basically Loki in disguise, like a variant Loki.
A Loki. Yes.
That... I gotta tell you, that's an interesting.
I've seen that theory from more than one person.
Here's the thing: the only reason I doubt that theory that's an interesting theory, but the fact that we're building up kind of our cloaked figure at the end makes me think. Then again, Loki could make copies of himself, but not that far away.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what makes me kind of buy the theory is like, what if throughout the series we get like a ton of different Lokis?
Now that's the thing. So essentially we reveal that our bad guy is Loki, the variant that we are hunting, that we're kind of building up
Dragon, I know it's not too PC, so I'm only gonna say it once, but in my head I'm kind of referring to him as Hitler Loki.
I mean, that's a little premature. So we don't know how bad.
I'm just saying, he's like the worst of the worst Loki. He's like the true evil Loki.
Right.
Anyway,
okay. So regardless, we're building up kind of our we're saying that we're hunting a Loki, and presumably the worst of the worst Loki. That is kind of essentially is kind of like taking the TVA's time tech, and he's going to be planning something really mischievous and really bad, it seems. Now, that's the thing. It's the question of how many, knowing that this Loki has, stealing like the little like time reset things, that this Loki might be making an army of Lokis. By that proxy, maybe Mobius could be a Loki, if that's the case. Otherwise, I don't buy it.
Anyway, I just noticed we have some just giggle in the comments. What's going on, boys? Love the pilot of Loki. Casey,
Eugene Cordero,
hero of mine. Sorry, take a couple workshops with him, but Poncio trained under him a lot. That's cool. Nice.
Casey was also in The Mandalorian. He had a bit part in The Mandalorian. He was one of the guys kind of I guess improving with the other one up against the Mandalorian episode 4 when he's coming to the small town to help him fight the AT-AT, the ATST more accurately.
And Josh, of course, if you ever want to come on for any of the 6 episodes, by all means, hit us up. We are more than welcome. So, all right, Dragon, where are we?
All right. Okay. So let's going back to Mobius. Yes, Owen Wilson, big draw for this for sure. I love he and Hiddleston's dynamic. That's the thing that sold me most in the trailer. I mean, outside just kind of the general kind of majesty of it just seems kind of like the cool mystery build of what shenanigans are we going to get into with the TVA. But they're we have kind of the veteran TVA agent who's kind of like a time detective essentially, trying to get Loki on his side for a major advantage, as we learn it takes a Loki to catch a Loki, apparently. My favorite aspect of the episode is through Mobius, and that we do essentially one of my favorite Albert Brooks movie. We do Defending Your Life, which I forget if James L. Brooks directed that or not. But anyway, so Defending Your Life, great film. Essentially, Albert Brooks, he dies, and he's basically in kind of like a limbo before he goes the afterlife, or basically gets reincarnated. He has to review his choices in life, and they put on a screen and put it in front of him, which essentially is what we do to Loki here. We put his life in front of him on screen. So a lot of Defending Your Life in this, which I really appreciated, and it's like the reel of the Avengers Loki's timeline. My favorite gag in the whole episode. We play, I think I'll have that drink now. And Mobius offers him like the Shasta Cola or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So no, I love that.
They should serve that drink at the Ant-Man restaurant, Dragon.
They should.
just saying. Anyways.
But yeah,
so Loki special.
Yeah, so again, all my favorite stuff is pretty much during this Defend Your Life kind of section. We're doing that, and we're having the DB.
This whole, everything with the life, with the life thing, the timeline that Loki's seen is it's great, Dragon. Just conceptually, just super interesting. I mean, just really, really just goes out of its way to give Loki character. And by the way, Dragon, we should talk about that. We should talk about the fact that this is pre even Thor the Dark World Loki. Like, this is Loki with no development past the Avengers.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to see Tom Hiddleston return to that, Dragon. It really is. I've seen a couple people, I heard a couple people were worried about this show in regards to like, oh, are they just going to like revert back all of Loki's character development?
Nope.
And they don't do that in a really genius way, which we'll kind of build to. But I feel like they kind of subverted. It's like it's not the same character development, but there is definitely development.
Yes, and Joshua Thomas of Just Giggle in the comments here. I heard him bring this up beforehand, but I'm glad I brought it up here. So Joshua Thomas loves time travel storytelling. So I did not know that. He's really into it makes sense with the stuff like Earth's Do-Over, which he has been kind of working on, which kind of this would fit his style of humor if you really think about it. So it's the fact like all the fun kind of timey-wimey comedy you can mine from that is kind of the interesting ideas. Which again, for example, we have like the Time Twister being this little auto rewind thing on the collar, like kind of the containment collar, which is hilarious. Right. Sorry, I love when Loki's like throwing a tantrum. He's like throwing the chair. Sorry, it winds you back, not the furniture. Some fun stuff there. Let's see. So we got to talk about the DB Cooper thing. I love I was a big sell for me in the marketing.
Best scene of the episode. I mean, this episode was packed with greatness, Dragon, but that was such a fucking awesome reveal. It really was. I cannot. I geeked out about it so hard, Dragon, because I am as you might know, Dragon, I'm a fan of like unsolved mysteries and true crime and shit like that. So of course, DB Cooper, like I'm not one of those people that, knows every detail about the DB Cooper case, but it's definitely something that's crossed my radar. And I mean, God, I cannot fucking say enough good things about how clever that was, Dragon.
Yeah, I've looked into the DB Cooper thing, and very recently, HBO Max, they have this excellent DB Cooper documentary. It's really cool.
Really?
I told you about this when we did memoirs once, but yeah, it's really worth looking. It's really worth looking into. It's anyway. The point being, it's like them kind of getting close to solving the mystery. It's actually kind of appropriate towards Loki itself because it's kind of about variance in the truth. It's kind of interesting.
Right,
anyway,
right.
But yeah, it's But this was very on brand. It was very accurate. I mean, the whole thing down to him like Charmin, like he basically wrote, wrote the note to the flight attendant. And again, the flight attendant thought it was like, oh, this guy's hitting on him. But like, no, listen, there's a bomb. You're gonna want to like it's exactly what happened.
He just doesn't miss a beat with how charming he is. It's just like, oh no, there's a bomb miss.
I just love there was like a bet that he lost with Thor. Just you have to go to Midgard. You have to do something mischievous.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was a great scene. The fact that Loki's been on Earth before and he's gotten into he's gotten into trouble like that. It's great. All right, let's see. So it's really cool that Loki he gets to. We get to see what Loki's capable of, and that's essentially what the goal is here. Like the goal is Mobius wants Loki to lean into, what he is truly. Is that like what are you in this kind of therapy session? Is pretty much what the episode structure is. Like, okay, so why do you want these things? Like, okay, so you're this villainous killer right now. I mean, you say you're not a killer. What do you want? Well, I want to rule. I want to. What do you want to be king of? King of Midgard, which then means King of Asgard, which then means, well, King. So Loki, King of Space. But don't mock me. He says, well, that's all you want. Though you want everything. What do you want to rule? It's just you basically want the title. You don't want to do anything.
I like how it's kind of like psychologically breaking down the whole like take over the world, of course. That whole meme.
Yeah,
like take it over just to take over, man. It's just what I do.
It's just the fact that this kind of therapy and introspection, this is like the introspection Loki's needed the whole time to evolve and progress into kind of the Infinity War Loki that we saw, like the fully developed Loki, to the point where like instead of being beaten the crap out of by the Hulk, he's actually saying, "We have a Hulk." Like, get to that Loki,
Right, exactly.
Again, and I love that Loki has to see beyond the illusion of his own ego to answer the fundamental questions of himself. Like I think the thing we're going to have that's going to be kind of explored in the series a little bit is like he believes fundamentally in the lie of freedom, which we saw in Avengers, the whole lie of freedom, and people want to be ruled. So you think you want freedom, but you don't. You want to be controlled. You want a king. Me. And like every wrong path taken, which I think is absolutely going to tie into Loki confronting other versions of himself. So I think I think we've set up Loki's arc for season 1 here with lines like that and a little kind of conversation with Mobius.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else left to go over besides just the whole Loki kind of seeing his life flash before his eyes?
Well, yeah, we got. Well, let's see. Beyond, you mean other than that? Well, we kind of talked about.
Yeah, other than that, yeah.
Let's see. Well, we should talk about Casey a little bit, though. So Loki has this great moment where he escapes and he encounters Casey, and it's just really fun. I like this. Casey's going to be like a recurring character, it seems. For sure. I love this. So we have B-15. I think the recurring co-workers of Loki here. We got Casey running the desk, who already has kind of taken an odd liking to him, despite Loki threatening to gut him like a fish.
I like that he is Casey is like a very off character in the way that he is performed. Would you agree?
Yeah,
it's like, I can't put my finger on him, but I like that it's just it's kind of like, it almost kind of reminds me of like a Men in Black alien or something, Dragon. Sure. It's got that kind of like quirky quality of like it. He almost kind of feels like I don't know, but I'm just saying just the whole vibe of the place that it's Casey. It's kind of everyone that has that. That has that sort of like it almost feels like an alien pretending to be human kind of like weirdness about them.
I'll raise you one better for your Men in Black comparison.
Okay.
It's like the guy who sits in the hallway of Men in Black. It's kind of like the doorman, like the lazy doorman of the MIB. Sure. It's kind of like that's the thing. This guy Casey seems to be like a fixture because again, the whole gag of like, how do you not know what a fish is? It's the fact that this guy, he only, with the TVA working the way it does, and like Mobius hating his desk as much as he does, and like hating, again, he's the veteran, he's been around, he just kind of gets sick of the place, but he's kind of stuck there. Like, I get a sense of Casey's, he literally only knows that desk, and like maybe he's moving items from point A to point B. Like, he has not stepped foot outside of the TVA, like, ever. Let's see. So, of course, we have B-15. B-15 is kind of the antagonistic presence at the TVA, who basically catches Loki, and we have mischievous fun with little time twister device. Just like it is kind of B-15's fault Loki got away. By the way, like, yeah, you pulled him out of the room. What did you expect was going to happen?
Right.
Just to say, I don't like this. Wham, wham, wham. So there you go. Let's see. So, outside of the revelation, yeah, I think we've. Do you want to speculate about the Hunter variant Loki? The variant Loki that we've kind of teased up at the end any further, or should we just talk about our breakthrough?
Let's talk the breakthrough and then we can speculate. All right. I don't have much speculation, but sure. I'm certainly willing to entertain theories.
All right. And we'll turn over the comments to see if anything gets brought up. Okay, so the fast forward scene is genius. It's a little like the scene in Interstellar, just a little more condensed and more Loki-ish. It's the best scene for sure. Hiddleston reacting to a man's lifetime is just, quote the title, it's glorious. It's great. It's wonderful. It's I just love, the thing I love most about these, I love how the egomaniacal Loki is just knowing how egomaniacal Loki is. Only Loki can inspire Loki to get him to kind of like see past the end of his nose on the whole TVA matter of saying, okay, no, this is actually happening. This is true what he's saying. This is your life. And like he's falling in love with himself going through this journey and arc. And of course, the fact that he dies horrifies. I'm like, oh my God, I went through all this just to die at the hands of Thanos? What happened?
I love how there's like a build though. I love how before we get to his death, there's a real sense of like, oh wow, like this isn't how I was expecting it to go, but he's kind of stoked that he's connecting with his brother and that him and his brother are fighting alongside each other. Like I love that side of Loki has never, like, he's never really gotten away from his family roots in all of the MCU, and I really like that they've held on to that.
Yeah, I mean, the closest he was ever away was like 5 minutes with the Grandmaster, and that was about it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah, just I totally agree with you. I mean, I still think the DB Cooper thing is probably my favorite scene in the episode, just from just a pure like geek out point of view. But this is definitely like the best scene, like on a textbook writing perspective for sure.
yeah. It's like Loki killed his mother, he lost his father, and he just as he bonded with his brother, it's just killed by a giant purple people eater, if you will.
I don't know. I really like how they to me it feels very, I mean, this episode is throwing so many styles out there, right? I mentioned Tim Burton, Terry Gilliam, a little bit of Men in Black. This almost feels like a Christopher Nolan kind of existential crisis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, again, it's kind of
Like
Nolan.
I could see Nolan making a movie about the idea of like there being a world where you can watch your life play out and like the implications of that, like it's a very heady idea.
Very, it's very Tenet meets Interstellar in a sense. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
kind of agent through time, but like the string of time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the big breakthrough, like Joshua Thomas in the comments here, he's kind of hyping up, the great, the sweet Wilson sarcasm used to pull on the heartstrings, which is great. And again, seriously, his performance in movies, like he seemed like talking to a little girl in like what is it, the 1500s or whatnot, way back when. Just it's real charming with her. And again, I love that he's like the guy saying, no, don't reset Loki, don't destroy him, don't do anything. Like we got to bring him back alive because again, one is an asset, and two, again, I believe that he is kind of a fan of Loki, and again, whether that's because he is a version of Loki, I don't know. But yeah, it's just this breakthrough that he helps him get to is that it's that realization he had after the trial, and like through like the fast forwarding of his life, is that Loki is he's part of the supporting cast. He's the foe to make others heroic. He's the spoke in the heroic journey. He's not the hero, and I love that in kind of our pilot here, as that's the excellent challenge for a character to be the hero of their own story, knowing that it's possible. You saw it in that timeline. You know that a version of yourself is possible of greatness. Basically, we Cobra Kai'd Loki in all the best ways. It's what we did here. We Cobra Kai'd him. We're looking at it from a different perspective. You can be the hero of your own story. You don't have to be like the generic 80s bully. You can be more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
All right. Any theories, Dragon? Any speculation you want to get out there?
Okay, well, let me say this. So, again, I love that we cleverly nipped the mystery and speculation in the bud with the whole Mephisto thing. It's like, okay, well, it's Loki is our bad guy. Mobius just said so. Yet we did not see Loki. Now, I'll tell you what I don't want it to be. Okay, this is not necessarily a deal breaker, but for me, it's like I hate this being a new precedent in the MCU. Chances are we're going to get at least once, if not multiple, a few. I don't know how big a role we're going to have with this. We're going to have Lady Loki at some point in this show. I'm convinced. Now, I don't want the reveal to be the big ominous Loki is Lady Loki, because I just think the MCU can only pull that hat trick so many times before it gets old. Okay, we had in Ant-Man the Wasp, we had in Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm dreading that we're going to get it in Black Widow. I do not want Rachel Weisz to be Taskmaster.
Thor as well.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying, like, if we're doing the gender swap.
Well, I mean, Hela doesn't count. The Hela's always been female. It's not.
No, I'm just saying, like, Thor, we're doing the whole, like, okay, there's a female version of the character. Like, it might not be a villain.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, right. Sorry, I was thinking more like the whole, like, I'm saying, like, the twist, like, doing, like, the Enfys Nest thing. I don't want to leave, like, it's a girl.
I'm sorry. I get you.
That's what I mean.
No,
like the ghost.
The female being the villain thing, to me, I've always had a problem with that, just because it's just like, no shit, females can be villains. Do you know how humanity works?
See, that's what concerns. That's what, because again, like, hey, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp is a lady. I mean, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong there. Ghost is kind of a blank slate. That's cool. And then like, hey, and we're making Flag Smashers, one of the big cells. It's a girl literally with Enfys Nest. It's like, okay, well, we're
all right. I don't even know who Catgirl is, Dragon, but Beowulf says Catgirl Loki or
I think Beowulf means like it's like the fandom, like Catgirl sort of thing, like yours. Like
gotcha. Yeah. right.
Like not an actual cat girl. He's like kind of like because he has a big fan base.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm already dreading that Rachel Wise is going to be
like
revealed to be
the alternate Loki is just like a fucking just like anime fangirl.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways,
yeah, knowing just how huge the fangirl community is for Loki, right?
For
now.
Loki, there's like a more than 0% chance of that happening.
Okay, let's see. So JGI says there were leaked set photos which revealed Sophia Di Martino sporting some familiar
I
Lady
don't want to know
Loki
these things. I don't know what I don't want to
Well,
know
don't
these
look her up
things.
then. Don't look her up. That's why I'm just saying. From even in the first trailer, like there was speculation. There's a lady that may be Loki. I'm assuming that is. I don't know how big a role. I'm just saying I don't want it to be like the big cloaked figure to be Lady Loki because that's just going to be like that's your reveal. Like the Loki, it's a girl, and that's different. No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it was different when it was like Samus Aran in the fucking late 80s, but you know. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, let's scroll through the comments here. I mean that okay, so that's my main speculation. Okay, well, here's one other thing. So another Kang reference. The weapon when they went back to reveal the cloaked figure, which is presumably a Loki. There was a weapon in the ground. This weapon was from the third millennium, which is where Kang the Conqueror is from, and it's a very Kang the Conqueror looking weapon. So again, I mean, I'd be impressed if that guy was actually Kang the Conqueror and not Loki. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm very clear. I think it's just very directly Loki, but we don't know which version. The big thing that makes me wonder, though, I wonder if the whole "vote for me" tag on that, one of the big images of the show from the trailers, like Loki with all the people around, well, you had to see this coming with the whole "vote for Loki" sticker.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's our evil Loki.
Ooh, that's a good. That's interesting.
See, that's the cool thing. Now, if you look back, I'm assuming the one in the Windbreaker is our good guy, but any other version of Loki we saw in that trailer could possibly be our evil Loki.
Sure.
Okay, that's the thing that gets me excited. Like, how close is it to our actual Loki, and imagine just how blending in and just all the cool stuff we could do. Okay, let's see. Is there any? Okay, now let's see if there's anything we've missed here. I think we've pretty much covered everything. This is when we do the reading portion of the show, kids. JGI says just checking IMDb, Loki's 6 episodes. I'm sure they're going to pack a ton in. Going to be pretty elaborate with the.
Considering how much we got in episode 1, I can only imagine. And Dragon, one of the big things I'm hearing, because of course the media got access to both episodes 1 and 2. And Dragon, like a reoccurring thing that I'm hearing from people who like reviewed episode 1 and 2 just as a package are like, oh, you think episode 1's good? You think episode 1's good? Just you wait. And I'm like, I can't even imagine with how good episode 1 was. And honestly, Dragon, I'm just gonna roll that into my final thoughts. The show is just packed with potential. I'm loving it.
Let me ask you this: are there any big cameos you'd want to see in Loki?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, like honestly, for me, with the MCU, I'm all about kind of like the weird, obscure characters. So like, there's a Squirrel Girl's bike. Dragon is in Avengers Campus as well.
Well, I mean, remember, her sign's on the ride though. They've established Doreen Green is like she's in
right. So, I mean, I imagine she'd probably show up in like a Spider-Man more than this, but I don't know, maybe like a Howard the Duck.
I think Howard the Duck is absolutely possible for
you know me, like that's going to be my go-to answer. Then Howard the Duck, like out of any character to make a cameo, I would fucking love to see like a little bit more of a taste of Howard the Duck.
It'd be hilarious if Loki just gets a glimpse of Fat Thor from Endgame. And
my God.
If he just has like a laugh at Thor, like what happened to him? But then like we laugh, but then we kind of like go for the like, oh my poor brother, he killed Thanos, kind of avenging me in some sense. But
All right. Sorry, Doc Brown being warned by Marty. You know what I mean.
It means it was actually a really good question. Does Loki save himself a la Marty McFly in Back to the Future 3 by seeing his own death by Thanos? So this is the now here's the big question of the show. Now, did the TVA just go in and reset things perhaps in Avengers Endgame, or like a way when this show was announced, a part of me wondered, Does this show end? But then we got renewed for a second season, which makes me doubt this. Does the season end with Loki being reinserted into the timeline and just fulfilling his role?
I have a feeling that it's going to end with him.
Given that he's a variant, it is not as certain as I once thought. He's a variant, and
my original theory was that it was just going to end with him basically being a time cop dragon. But if that's the case, correct me if I'm wrong here, but then wouldn't that take Loki out of the timeline? Like, you would have to. Okay, am I making any sense when I say that?
No, I hear what I'm saying. Tiki, is that maybe they end the second season with I don't know how long term their plan is for Loki.
So basically right now Loki is like
time cop.
No, but what I'm saying is like in the timelines, God, I don't even know what I'm trying to ask here.
Okay, look, let me. I think I can put it. Okay, so. I think the simplest way of looking at it, without everyone just kind of going cross-eyed through all the time jargon,
right,
is Cap returning the stones essentially means after something went haywire, we fixed it and it went fine. So, he restored the Tesseract, so it is in Avengers. The point being, after he returned the stones, everything. So
basically, we don't have to worry about the fact anything that Loki did in between Avengers and Infinity War, that's still intact, even though Loki was removed from the timeline.
Tiki, that was always the assumption, but that's the interesting thing of the show. The assumption is that is absolutely what it could be. If you basically want to keep this time variant Loki around, that's where you should go with that. Otherwise, what the show could do is explain exactly how do we fix that? How do we fix that little kind of Tesseract things? The assumption was that's how everything else worked. The Tesseract is the only kind of hang-in chad, but we assumed they just got fixed like everything else did. So it is
Josh, I'm gonna giggle. Wow, I'm gonna Google that really quick. There you go. The branding, Josh. It's working. Anyways. Do you know off the top of your head, Dragon, if Tom Hiddleston is officially in Thor: Love and Thunder?
I mean, I know Loki is confirmed for Doctor Strange 2. I know that. He's going to be in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness.
Exciting. That's exciting because I've always wanted to see a sorcerer fight between Loki and Doctor Strange, so I'm totally fucking down with that.
So that I'm like
as far as I can see, Josh, Loki is not listed in the credits for Love and Thunder, as far as I can see.
So if he's angling,
that's barring any sort of we're gonna hold off on revealing him until a later date. But we'll see.
I think what he's angling for is perhaps if he's not in that, then that means maybe variant Loki might not be.
That makes sense. Sure.
But again, that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if they're ever going to, if they want to, if it seems like if any show is going to have a shot at explaining exactly how, how do we get the Tesseract back and things, because the assumption is, okay, if we want to keep things spinning, TVA just probably fixed it behind the scenes, or Cap somehow got the Tesseract back when he restored the stones, and everything just kind of reset itself back in the sway. So we're going to see how big a role, if the TVA even had to do something with that, I guess. So it's interesting. So if anything's going to tell us that, it would be this show. Otherwise, just kind of accept everything worked out.
For sure.
Okay, so according to Don Martin here, Hiddleston confirmed that he's not in Thor. So yeah, he's definitely looks like that.
You know what? That doesn't mean anything, though.
Now you say it, it's
I'm just saying. I don't buy
everyone's saying they're in Spider-Man, but everyone's saying they're in, it's
right. Crazy. Honestly, unless Kevin Feige himself says
that is true.
Yeah, that's the only person I'm actually.
I'll fight Feige
even then, it's not 100%.
That's the thing. I abide by the law of Feige with one exception: how he builds the whole continuity thing of the Netflix shows. That's the one thing I vehemently disagree with him on. But outside of that, it's Feige's world we're just living in.
Okay, so Dragon, any other final thoughts you want to get out there really quick?
The Kablooey gag gum is a really deep cuts reference. It's like in the ads of the comic books, you have all the kind of the cheap products that you can buy at the back of the comic book. Kablooey gum was one of them.
Okay, nice. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess that'll do it, folks. Thanks to everyone in the comments: Donovan Martin, Jess Giglet, Beowulf, I believe that's it. Yeah, that looks like it's it. But you guys all rock it. Thank you. And Josh, we need to get you on. Definitely hit us up. We will have you on for sure. We would love to have you on for one of these things. All right, y'all. Have a good night. I need to do the outro. Sorry. That'll do it for us this week as we host through our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mono y mono. Just Plus and Us.
How do you not know what a fish is?
Wow.